It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Ophthalmologist Dr. Strauss has seen firsthand how the metaverse is helping surgeons practice the procedures to treat cataracts.
Cataracts are the primary cause of avoidable blindness.
He works with a virtual reality training platform developed by Fundamental VR and Orbis International to help surgeons develop the muscle memory they need. The result? More confident, capable surgeons. And even more importantly,
Patients who can see.
explore more stories like Dr. Strauss's at meta.com/metaverse impact.
Apple Card is the perfect cashback rewards credit card. You earn up to 3% daily cash on every purchase, every day. That's 3% on your favorite products at Apple, 2% on all other Apple Card with Apple Pay purchases, and 1% on anything you buy with your titanium Apple Card or virtual card number. Visit apple.co/card calculator to see how much you can earn. Apple Card issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome back to your daily source for fantasy hockey news and gambling breakdowns. It's a Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast, and we have to talk about this Eastern Conference playoff showdown. Who's better going up against who? Are the Toronto Maple Leafs even alive? We'll break it all down for y'all on today's episode.
You're Locked On Fantasy Hockey, your daily podcast on fantasy hockey. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Friday episode of the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Shout out to the everydayers holding us down, making us your first listen every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. New customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 if your bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Steele, I don't know what to say other than I'm ready for the playoffs. I want this all to go down, but I'm nervous. As a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, as a bettor out there, there are a lot of different things that can change over the next couple of weeks, and you and I are going to talk about it later in the show. We're also going to get to Friday's bets, but we're going to talk a little bit about the updates that you need to know injury-wise. We're going to get it out of the way quick and dirty because, honestly, Steele, I don't even know what your take is on this, but one of the topics circulating the NHL realm right now are what team do the Toronto Maple Leafs match up well against? And I think also that means what teams match up against better otherwise. Florida, Boston, the New York Rangers, Carolina Hurricanes. We'll break it all down. Let's get to these updates, though, because Mitch Marner mentioned it. He's out for another week. Aaron Ekblad, he's returning. But maybe let's focus on Elias Lindholm because I'll talk about the Colorado Avalanche in a sec. What's your take on the Vancouver Canucks headed into the postseason? I know Elias Lindholm is holding down the third line, which is kind of nice. Right now, day to day, hit me with your take on Lindholm since joining Vancouver and what you think this Canucks team can do, because to be honest, I'm not really certain.
I mean, I know the Vancouver Canucks have also been in the heavy topic right now as well, along about what's a good matchup for them heading into the postseason. True. And as it is sitting right now, I believe they would be facing the Nashville Predators, the hottest team in the NHL. So that would be maybe an upset in the making. I think I might have mentioned that actually a couple of episodes ago. But I mean, with Elias Lindholm personally, like when he got traded there, I think it was exactly what the Vancouver Canucks needed. I still think it's the exact thing that they needed, but he hasn't been, I don't know, confidence with this game, comfortable, fitting in there properly. Like he started off pretty well with the Vancouver Canucks in the first 5 games. Yep. But he's kind of dried out a little bit. Only has 9 points in 22 games. He's a -5.
Not good, not great.
Not great. Yeah, exactly. He's average. He's in the middle ground right now with the Vancouver Canucks. But the peripherals are nice. 31 shots, 16 blocks, and 29 hits. I mean, you can't take that away from him. But other than that, he's been fairly disappointing, even though the Vancouver Canucks are still winning games. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10 games, and they're still atop of the they're still atop of the Pacific Division right now. So,
right.
I mean, they've got a pretty good distance on the Edmonton Oilers. I still don't think it's possible the Oilers catch them, but I think it's very unlikely. I think most likely the Vancouver Canucks are going up against the Nashville Predators.
Oilers do have 2 games in hand, but
yeah,
I'm
they
with
do.
you.
They do.
For sure. I'm with
I mean,
you 100%.
it's a tough ask for sure.
Very much so.
I can't remember exactly what the remaining schedule was on that ranked list that we were doing the other day. But I mean, Vancouver Canucks, whether they're going up against the Nashville Predators or Vegas Golden Knights, those are 2 very tough matchups for them in the first round.
I think, and this is no disrespect to the West Coast, the Vancouver Canucks at all. There's this thing that's going on for the last number of years, Steele, and I can't help but be obvious. The West Coast hockey fans, the East Coast hockey fans, it's very, very much an argument at every single turning point. And when I talk about the Vancouver Canucks, I just have to be honest. I'm not even going to talk about the Maple Leafs or anything like that. As a team sitting where they are, I have a lot of question marks, and it's not even Thatcher Demko, who we hope he's back and healthy and ready to go.
Should be.
I'm just a little bit concerned about this Vancouver Canucks team. If they have to go through the Vegas Golden Knights and Nashville Predators, okay. Nashville Predators, say what you will about the roster. They're the hottest team in the league. And then when you look at rosters, why would you want to face the Vegas Golden Knights? So say what you will about the season, which we can't take away from. Elias Lindholm, 4 goals. Is it 4 goals? 5 goals and 4 assists.
Yeah.
It's not good enough for me. I know he's on the third line. I guess I just wanted to highlight the fact that bringing in this player, there was a lot of hype around it. Can he still bring value in the postseason? Most definitely. Can the Vancouver Canucks go on a run? Why not? I'm questioning it, Steele, and we have to highlight it because if Lindholm is out even more game to game, you're going to have to get creative here. I just wanted to also mention Mitch Marner's absence for the Toronto Maple Leafs because this is a precarious position this team is in. The Tampa Bay Lightning are nipping at their heels. Mitch Marner is the straw that stirs the drink, and you can see how Austin Matthews' offensive game, that's too much pressure and reliance on number 34. He needs someone else there to feed him the biscuit. I don't know how you feel about this deal. We're going to get there right after the break. That was just a little bit of a tease. However, I'm excited to talk about it if you're okay. Yeah. Let's go there right now because we're keeping today, for the first time ever, short and sweet. Today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, patience. What brings home the winning trophy is what also keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and a whole lot more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. Over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for. eBay, guaranteed fit. Your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or money back. With eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want. So easy to turn your MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay, guaranteed fit, only available to U.S. customers.
What's up, guys? Trey Matthews of Locked On Devils here, and let me tell you about Discover Debit Cash Back. Wings for the game? Boom, cash back. New lucky jersey? Boom, cash back. Even a last-minute ice run could score you some cash back when you use your debit card. And yes, we said debit card. With Discover Cashback Debit, everyone can earn cash back on everyday purchases. Look, in sports, it's hard to predict who's taking the W, but you know what's a guaranteed win? Discover Cashback Debit. Oh, and did I mention there are no fees, period? I'm telling you, this one is a real game changer. Check out transaction eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
And thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. Are you watching on Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV? Have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channel apps. part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in for today's episode with Flip and I. Continue to smash that subscribe, the follow button, leave a 5-star review. We appreciate all the love and support you show us Monday through Friday. So thank you so much again. And couldn't be more excited about the postseason around the corner. Flip, to answer your question, though, about Mitch Marner and the Toronto Maple Leafs, you could really feel Mitch Marner's absence in those last two games. I mean, I thought they played a really good game against the Carolina Hurricanes in that 2-1 loss. The 6-3 loss to the New Jersey Devils might be the most embarrassing loss of the season. And I think Sheldon Keefe let them know that as well. Also, Sheldon Keefe needs to do a better job with his coaching right now. He needs to get these boys ready for the postseason. Set your lineups for what you think or what you want in the postseason. Enough with the mix and matching. Get your line. I know you've got a few injuries right now, but get your line pretty much set up. The second thing I want to mention, though, is I understand that, Austin Matthews is gunning for 70 goals. He still has to reach 60. Everyone wants to see him get 60, maybe get 70. I understand that. The problem I'm seeing over the last couple of games with the Leafs is they are passing the puck to him too many times when there's no opportunity for him to make a play or put a shot on goal in a high scoring chance. I mean, there's too many clips in that Devils game where they were trying to feed him the puck and there was just no way that it was going to work. So, again, like I said, the absence of Mitch Marner has been felt over the last couple of games, but even with what they're gunning for right now, they need to take the opportunities when they have the puck on their stick to put it on the net and stop trying to feed Austin Matthews all the time. I want to see Austin Matthews get 60. I want to see him gun for 70 at the end of the season, but you got to win these games. You got to do what's best for you as a player and put your team in a winning position to win these games right now. Because again, the Tampa Bay, a few episodes ago, I said I wasn't scared of the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm pretty scared right now with the Tampa Bay Lightning 2 points back.
And I think we'll talk about in a quick second about the matchups, who's going to face who, what we think about that. Let me just also, before I get back to this Mitch Marner thing, I wanted to mention Valeri Nichushkin for the Colorado Avalanche is out. Casey Middlestat is now going to get a look on that top power play unit. The updates for the injuries, that had to be mentioned because Casey Middlestat is going to be a very valuable piece, even if Nichushkin is out game-to-game basis. Now, back to the Leafs. Marner, this is an abundance of caution. That's the word you've heard from all of the media, from the coaches, all of it. That makes sense to me, but I would be concerned about this team's mojo and what this team needs to click heading into the postseason. We already know the Leafs are going to be massive underdogs against whatever team they go up against. And we'll talk about that in a very quick second. But Mitch Marner, I would say they're being too cautious with this player. Unless the injury is serious and it warrants him being out, which obviously you and I don't know, but everything we keep hearing is, the playoffs, so we're going to get there. Mitch needs to be ready.
Sheldon Keefe's comment, he's day-to-day from being day-to-day. Like, what is that?
No, that's a cop-out, and I'm saying throw this man back in there for the amount of money he makes and how important he is to the success of this team. So that's number one. However, if you are a fantasy GM and you've owned Mitch Marner and you've been patient and you've even listened to our updates, which at first it was a couple days, then we're going to wait for next week, then we're going to ramp him up. It's sounding like they're going to wait until like the last game of the season or two, perhaps, Steele, and throw him out there for some rep. Now, I'm not here for the conversation about what Biz Nasty said on TV and wherever else he was saying it about the Rangers. He's comfortable with the Leafs taking them on. Not here for that. I would say Rangers in 5. However, I've talked a lot about this Carolina Hurricanes team, and I'm going to leave your take, Steele. I want the whole thing. Hit me with what you think. I would be much more comfortable going up against the Carolina Hurricanes if I was the Toronto Maple Leafs. If that's what was going to go on and they do fall out of that spot, I say you got to keep winning. You got to hold it down. You got to take on Florida or Boston. You got to keep that momentum going. But if we're talking about other teams, like if I had to pick, I'm going to go up against Carolina and take my chances. But that's just me.
Yeah, and that only happens if Carolina can get in first place in the Metro.
100%. I'm just saying of the four, hypothetically.
And I'll get to my answer in a little bit, but I've got some stats and some numbers I want to ream off towards you and the listeners out there. I've got the the yearly matchups against all 4 of these teams. So against the Bruins, the Leafs are 0-2-2 with 7 goals for and 14 goals against.
Outscored
Against the Rangers, 2-1-0, so they have above 500 win percentage there, but 12 goals for and 11 goals against. Against the Hurricanes, they're 0-2-1 with 7 goals for and 9 goals against. And then the Florida Panthers, they're 1-1-0 with 2 goals for and 4 goals against. However, they still have 2 more games against the Florida Panthers remaining in the season. April 1st and April 16th, mark it in your calendars against a heavy Atlantic Division game right there between the Panthers and Leafs. So those are the numbers, those are the stats against these against the Leafs, against those four matchups, those 4 teams in the Eastern Conference. I would have to agree with you with the Carolina Hurricanes.
Thank you. We're picking our poison here, right? Still,
exactly.
These are all 4 good teams.
There's no good option whatsoever. There's no good option whatsoever.
No.
But when you look at the Boston Bruins, there's so much history there. Every single time we face them in the postseason, we've got absolutely heartbroken. The number one thing for me against the Bruins is the Maple Leafs have shown us that they don't have an answer for David Pastrnak. There is no answer for him. They have they've shown us. They just don't have an answer for him. And when he's not going, Brad Marchand is getting under our players' skin and creating chaos. And we're on the penalty kill. So yeah, there's too much history there with the Bruins. I don't want to face them in the first round. Panthers are a very scary, dangerous team. We saw in the second round.
Cup favorites right now.
Cup favorites. We saw them go on to the Stanley Cup Finals last year. We got dusted in 5 in the second round against them. That's a very dangerous team, a very scary team, a very physical team that I don't believe the Leafs match up even remotely well against. So even when they come across them in the postseason, I'm getting on my knees and I'm praying. I'm hoping to God that they can somehow get a W against the Panthers in the postseason. But yeah, Rangers and Hurricanes is where I find it very interesting. I think either of those teams they have a way better shot against the Bruins and the Panthers. Yeah, if you had to go in order, who would you pick? You would go Hurricanes number 1.
I go Hurricanes. I would go Hurricanes 1. And in terms of, aside from all of what you said, in terms of like the Leafs just can't get past Boston and the intangibles that Pasternak's in their head and Marchand is too. In terms of just matching up against teams, I go Carolina 1 and I would go Boston 2, just in terms of offensive talent. If they can cook on offense, that's how I would rank it, Steele. That's all. And hold on, let me just interject, because it's not pretty however you slice it, like you said, because the Leafs, Steele, the 27th best penalty kill in the NHL. They're awful. And oh, wait, Tampa, number 1 power play, Carolina, number 3, New York Rangers, number 4, Florida Panthers, number 5, and the Boston Bruins, number 8. So you know me on special teams. I'll just leave it at this for my take. You know, I like to say it. I just would say if the offense clicks, the Bruins can't keep up with it. That would be the take I'd have to say there. However, I don't think there's a good way to look at this, pal. The Leafs have their work cut out for them, and they might still be dropping spots. So buckle up for both you and I.
The thing with me and the Boston Bruins, and I do agree with what you're saying. I think the offense for the Maple Leafs outweighs the offense of the Boston Bruins. But when the Maple Leafs offense is clicking and they are at the best of their top of their game, the Boston Bruins are going to drag them back down into the chaos, get dirty, get physical, get gritty, get a little nasty out there, they're going to lose their mental side of the aspect of the game. So,
the Bruins are in the Leafs' heads all day.
I'm going Hurricanes, then Rangers, then Bruins, then Panthers in that order. So I don't think we're too far off there, but I agree with you. I think the best shot for them is against the Hurricanes, because I think that's a matchup where we've seen, even though they're 0-2-1 on the season, I think they've been very low scoring games as well. Whether we've seen at times Pyotr Kochetkov struggle this season, is probably going to be Frederik Andersen anyways, but that's a goaltender the Leafs know a little bit, so maybe they have some history there where they can kind of get inside information, but that's the way I'm leaning. That's the way I'm leaning right now, is the Hurricanes would be the best matchup, but regardless, there's no easy route for the Leafs going all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Very intriguing matchup Thursday night while we're recording this. Washington Capitals taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. If the Caps win and the Flyers lose, they're into that third Metro spot.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about that once again. Let's get to bets around the break. You and I are going to break down every single first round matchup, X factors, bets, who wins in how many games, playoff pool advice, everything you need throughout the playoffs. Steele and I, believe it or not, we don't take any days off here, even though we could use a few right now. Monday through Friday, all playoffs long. You can tap right into the pod.
Tap right in. Only one game on the schedule for Friday night, but we're still coming hot and heavy with the big-time bets. We got 3 picks each out here.
Oh.
Have you ever seen an NHL player get off a team bus and think to yourself, gosh, I wish I could dress that nice? Well, with Indochino, you can. Indochino makes fully customized suits that don't require a trip to the tailor to get that perfect fit. Recently, I was shopping for a new dress shirt for my upcoming wedding, and when I decided to go with the Hyde herringbone shirt, I was blown away at all the customization options I had. I could change the type of collar, cuffs, and even decide whether or not I wanted a chest pocket, all while being incredibly affordable, especially given the quality of the product I was getting. New colors, fabrics, and outerwear styles are added regularly too, so it's easy to create your next look. Level up your game with Indochino. Go to Indochino.com and use code NHL to get 10% off any purchase of $399 or more. That's 10% off at INDOCHINO.com with code NHL.
Apple Card is the perfect cashback rewards credit card. You earn up to 3% daily cash on every purchase, every day. That's 3% on your favorite products at Apple, 2% on all other Apple Card with Apple Pay purchases, and 1% on anything you buy with your titanium Apple Card or virtual card number. Visit apple.co/card calculator to see how much you can earn. Apple Card issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
But thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. Continue to hit the subscribe, the follow button, leave a 5-star review. We appreciate all that love and support you show us Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock in the mornings when you can find our episodes. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. Only one game on the schedule, Flip. A very, very dry time of the year right now, or I guess dry weekend. Easter weekend. Hey, it's Easter weekend. It's a little early this year.
Yeah, happy Easter, everybody.
One game on the schedule. Buffalo Sabres taking on the New Jersey Devils. Somehow the New Jersey Devils, they're not out of it yet. They've got 9 games left. They're 5 points back of the Washington Capitals right now, so they've got a chance. They've won their last 2 games, but they need these 2 points badly.
Washington also has 2 games in hand, and I actually have liked what I've seen from the Devils of late. And also, when you dig into these, and let me just fire this off quick because I got a same game parlay for the head tops. New Jersey 7-3-0 in their last 10 against Buffalo. UPL has been getting pumped of late. I'm gonna go a same game parlay of Devils money line. I'm going to take the over because both of these teams have been involved in a ton of crooked scoring games. Also, 8 of the last 9 head-to-head over the number. And then take a look at a little bit of a sleeping giant who started the year doing nothing in Timo Meier.
Oh, I love where you're going with this.
All of a sudden, on fire, Timo Meier looking like the player that they acquired. Penalty minutes, shots on goal, production in points. He's getting it done. He's got game winners. He's got power play points. He is now all of a sudden way too late doing what the Devils paid the price to get him, but I don't care because we're betting on him. He has 4 points in his last 2 games. He has like 10 points in his last 5. Meier anytime point. Devils and the over feels like free money steal, and that's my same game parlay. And if I had to have a lock, it would be Meier anytime point.
Love that, absolutely, because that's where I'm starting with right now. Timo Meier, anytime goal for me personally in this Friday matchup. Like he has 5 goals in his last 5 games, so he's been absolutely feeling it for the New Jersey Devils. A little bit late to the party, but he showed up finally. I'm with you. Sabres, Devils, over 6.5. You already explained why, but I mean, take the over 6.5, free money.
Makes sense, yeah.
Last pick of the night, though, Tage Thompson, anytime goal as well. He has 7 points in his last 7 games. He has 3 goals as well in those 7 games. But I'm going with the anytime goal. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, a scoring affair for some of the top dogs on each side. Tage Thompson, anytime goal. Timo Meier, anytime goal. Lock of the night, though, Sabres Devils, over 6.5.
Let's have a very big Friday. We'll also be back for a Saturday special to round out the month. We'll break down all of the news following whatever happens in that game Friday deal. Saturday bets, any other news, perhaps a top 10 of who would you rather? We'll break it all down tomorrow's episode.
Saturday special. Make sure you're staying tuned. Thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. Once again, make sure you go check out Locked On Sports Today's YouTube channel, the free 24/7 sport covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts of Locked On, plus the national shows covering every single league. They're here for you 24/7. So make sure you go subscribe to the channel. Also on the free Amazon Fire TV channel app. So go check it out there as well. Thank you so much again for tuning in for today's episode with Flip and I. Have a great day. Good luck with all your bets tonight. And we shall see you back here again tomorrow for the Saturday special.
Peace.
BP added more than $70 billion to the U.S. economy in 2022. Investments like acquiring America's largest biogas producer, Archaea Energy, and starting up new infrastructure in the Gulf of Mexico. It's and, not or. See what doing both means for energy nationwide at bp.com/investing in America.
Too smart for your trading app? Tired of brokers made for beginners? Then it's time you get serious. It's time you join Tasty Trade, the tools and tech you need for a tough market, plus low and capped commissions, stocks, options, futures, and more, all in one place. If you trade anywhere else, you're missing out. Join the club, genius. Visit tastytrade.com. Tasty Trade Inc. is a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA, NFA, and SIPC.
At Amica Insurance, we know it's more than just a house. It's your home, the place that's filled with memories. The early days of figuring it out, to the later years of still figuring it out. For the place you've put down roots, trust Amica Home Insurance. Amica, empathy is our best policy.